Well, in fact, the movements that have been successful, including your own, have challenged the traditional hierarchy. You, the Democratic Party, Staten Island, there were no major labor organizations that supported them. Black Lives Matter, in fact, when Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, these figures visited places like Ferguson, they were booed. We're watching a kind of revolt against the established liberal elite. I wondered if you could talk about that.
Yeah, it's absolutely right, Chris, and I'm glad you mentioned that. That again, the examples that you gave once again are illustrating the increased political clarity that exists among millions of young people. That actually these leaders are there just for photo ops. They are there to co-opt our movements, and in fact, we should be wary of them. And one of the reasons the Amazon Labor Union succeeded at the JFK warehouse in winning this historic first ever union election in this $1 trillion corporation headed by one of the richest men in the world, Jeff Bezos, is precisely because they did not use what I would call the business unionism, basically the conventional ideas that have existed in the labor movement, in the Democratic Party, and even among social movement and NGO leaders, that the way to organize for change and even to win a union election or to win a good contract is to tinker at the margins by this sort of mythical idea of a few labor leaders at the bargaining table and then not mobilizing the rank and file. The ALU did not agree with all of that, and it was because they decided to build independently, and then they did many things that most labor leaders haven't done in the last 4 decades, which is, one, they led with concrete demands. They didn't talk about the union as an abstract entity. They made it very clear to the workers in the warehouse, and workers made it clear to workers in the warehouse that we need a union because don't you agree that we need to win a $30 an hour starting wage? Don't you agree that we need job security? Don't you think that we deserve a say in scheduling? Don't you think that we should get full-time hours if we want them? It was through concrete issues that they were able to build this kind of solidarity, shop floor solidarity, where you may not agree, you may not get workers to agree on every single thing on this planet, on every ideological issue, but if you can get agreement on a core group of concrete demands, and that is a solid basis for building a unified struggle. And then the other thing that they did right was that they made it very clear that the bosses are not on your side, so they didn't cultivate illusions that somehow they could convince management and Jeff Bezos to be nice just by making morally persuasive arguments. They said, no, they're going to fight against the union tooth and nail. And so that is the kind of clarity we need to bring forward if we are to win any such victories. And we can see that people are ready for that kind of thing. But I'm unfortunately not hopeful that the most of the crop of current labor leaders are going to carry that kind of change out. So in other words, if we want to do what ALU did and replicate those victories not only in other Amazon warehouses, but if we want to win a historic union struggle and then on top of that, win strong contracts for workers, then we will need a rank and file revival of the American labor movement in the first place.